Hello, I'm back with part 2 of the solar eclipse. New moon and Leo solar eclipse. All right, so in part 1 we touched on Leo being in the 5th house, on it being ruled by the sun. We also touched on Saturn. Saturn will be in Sagittarius, and as we know, and if you don't know, Sagittarius has to do with higher learning. It's in the 9th house, wisdom, expansion. The interesting thing about Sagittarius is, you see how it's a centaur, it's half man, half animal, and the animal instinct, or the animalistic part of an individual carries out the will of the man. And I think that's such a beautiful way to look at it, to look at Sagittarius, because a lot of times Sagittarius as an energy as a whole kind of gets people will more put it aligned with an actual individual and their actions. But when we talk about the essence of Sagittarius, it's a beautiful thing. Sagittarius is ruled by its original ruler is Jupiter. And as we know, Jupiter expands, and Jupiter is currently in the 7th house. So these are just, I'm going to say these are like the major players. Again, this video is really about how that penumbral lunar eclipse in Aquarius, how that download from the cosmos was it's the information that we needed to go forth and set our intention on the new moon. So we went over Uranus, went over revolution. And so if you don't know, a penumbral eclipse is when the moon goes in between the earth and the sun. And the sun being how we express ourselves, the moon being how we feel, and then the earth. So we need to ground ourselves before we go ahead and shine that ray of our sun sign, shine that ray of light unto the world. We need to go within and figure out our deepest emotions, our heart's desires. Are those things within our hearts, are they lining up with how we want to be seen and how we're expressing ourselves? So now you can kind of see, do you see where I'm calling the major players in this? You got Leo, you got the ruler of Leo, you got the sun, you've got the moon playing a part. Yeah, so just a lot of different things going on. We got Uranus, so we're dealing with the co-rulers and rulers. So in essence, it's a lot of information. So in essence, what this new moon is attempting to bring about, and so let me mention a couple of things that were going on in the heavens at the time of the lunar eclipse. We had the sun opposing the moon. So when the sun opposes the moon, what we were just discussing, how to align ourselves, right? Which is interesting. So how we need to align ourselves to make sure that our emotions, our feelings, and what it is, our drive, our desires, if they're lining up, if we're grounded in them, so that we can project them, so we can project our sun rays on the earth, right? Out to others, right? Out through our 11th house to potential clients, customers, and our network, right? So the sun was opposed the moon. When we have this new moon the new moon solar eclipse is going to be conjunct. So by that time, we should have aligned our feelings and emotions. This is why I really love astrology, because it really is as above, so below, as within, so without, right? So then we have the moon sextile Saturn. So the moon sextiling Saturn that day, we needed again. And I want to say that just because Oh, I'm going to say in this particular instance, being that we had these certain alignments on that day, again, it's prepping us for the new moon solar eclipse. So this energy is still relevant because it's really what we need to do in order to prepare ourselves for the new moon so that we can set our intentions so that we're not slacking or lagging like we did last month when we missed the new moon, right? For some of us. So the moon sextile Saturn. We know the moon has to do with the womb, water. Water sustains life, right? Then we have Saturn, which is logic, structure, discipline, foundation. There's no shortcuts. That's what we have to learn. There are really no shortcuts. We have to buckle down. We have to put our ideas and what it is that we want to do. We need to put it down on paper. We need to select someone who we can actually trust, who we know can assist us in carrying things out, who has our best interest at heart, to actually to oversee what we're doing to a certain degree, to check us, because, a lot of us, especially those that want to go out and do our own thing and have that entrepreneurial mind, we really need somebody to check us and kind of pull us back, right? Or not pull us back in a negative way, but just pull us back to make sure that, we're navigating properly. So, again, that's just lining up the discipline with the action and the emotion again. And then we had Moon trining Jupiter. This is where opportunity is going to be within the context. Because, again, Jupiter is in Libra. On that day, the moon was in Aquarius. So the expansion there, so opportunities in expanding our networks, right? So it's an ease of access. If we clarify our intent and our desires, if we're being positive, if we're treating people with respect, if we're thinking 2 and 3 times, especially if we are fire signs or we have a lot of fire energy and we're looking to our progress charts to kind of settle in that energy, we are doing things a new way so that we can have a new result. With Moon trine Jupiter, it is the path of least resistance. And we can maximize on our heart's desires. I mean, this is really, it gets me excited the more I think about it. Because as I was writing these things out, even though I was catching the download, like when I'm really looking over it, it's amazing how these things fall in line. It's time for us to perfect our craft, perfect our crafts so that we can seize the moment. I'll tell you what I do know. I know that there's a lot of opportunities. I already see it. I already see it happening. And I really have to get in line. A lot of us out there, we've got big dreams, big goals. So we need to just align ourselves. And this is what I'll say. Then we also had the moon opposing Mars. So our actions were not lining up, or they still may not be lining up. But that was on the penumbral lunar eclipse. I'm just sort of recapping, but also showing you how this energy is still extremely, the messages from that energy are extremely valid. So, again, lining up. We want instant gratification. Who doesn't want instant gratification when you have Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and God knows what else, right? So we may have resented the rules. We may very well still resent the rules and regulations. But guess what? It's time to shift and smile about it and just get it done. Make it look easy, right? So things that we're being called to do within our relationships, we need to compromise. We need to compromise. We need balance. Nobody is exempt. You might have shit easy. Well, I'm talking to my North Node Leos. You're not exempt. More specifically, those who have had a hard knock life or just hard knock challenges in everything that you do, self-check, because none of us are exempt. So we still have to buckle down. Go ahead and try to rush through it. I'll tell you, just like I was saying in part 1, I was trying to do videos and whatnot and actions during a lunar eclipse instead of respecting the moon, respecting the eclipse, and getting my download. I finally sat my behind down and received the download. So you're going to want to do shit, But I guarantee you, either you won't be able to do it or you're going to get stopped dead in your tracks if you are not doing this methodically. And when we take this back to Jupiter, we take it back to our relationships, and Jupiter having to do with wisdom, how wise are you in your craft? Because I'm not ashamed to say I have a lot more to learn, a lot more. And I have different avenues that I'm going on, and I have to take it step by step. So the thing here is organization. It's time management. It's respecting our relationships. It's going into self, because again, we've got, I think, quite a few planets, at least 4 planets in retrograde right now, if I'm not mistaken. So it's time to go within, and let's perfect what we need to within. Let's align ourselves. Let's channel our energy into what we need. And let me tell you something else. Another thing with the energy, first, before I move on, when the moon was opposing Mars on that day of the penumbral, the feeling versus the needing. The feeling versus the needing. What do you feel like doing versus what you need to do? Well, you know what? I feel like just laying around all day and reading astrology books and going to the library and gaining all the absolute knowledge that I possibly can regarding such, and then talking to my mother for hours at a time and getting her aspect on things, right? But I can't do that because I actually have to, I have exams I have to take. I have children I have to take care of. I have, I have to be organized, and I have to get other things done. So you're feeling like, okay, this is more important, but knowing this is what I really need to do, right? If that makes sense. So with that being said, we need to adjust and assimilate. The shift is going to be intense. So again, we're channeling our energy. It's also important when we're taking it back to the Leo energy, because this new moon eclipse is going to be around or about the 28th or 29th degree. It's going over Regulus. It is conjunct Mars as well as the moon. And so this is about action. It is about taking that step forward, knowing exactly what it is, or at least having an idea thereof, and then working to manifest it. Again, we have what, a week or so before this new moon? So we want to focus on our talent and gifts, what sets us apart from everybody else. Leo wants to be known for what it's good at. Leo wants to be known for its great knowledge. So how do we apply that energy to our own lives? Well, what is it that you're good at? What sets you apart? How can you elaborate on that? And, let's be easy with ourselves, because sometimes, if we try to force things to come, or we're not really sure, there's certain places that we can go, especially in nature, or maybe a train ride of some sort, and it'll come to you. So that's why I was saying, another video, to always have your pen. Around this time, you want to have your pen, paper. You want to have your pen and your pad with you. Forget about putting everything in your cell phone, because Mercury's retrograde, and you never know what may happen with your little gadgets and whatnot. So you want to make sure that you have, that you have a way to jot this information down as it comes. We want to learn to merge. Okay, but what I was going to say before that is Leo. We want to be known for what we are good at, for what sets us apart, for what makes our ice colder than someone else's. Whereas we need to be mindful, because remember when I was saying when Mercury was in Leo, how we can get a little carried away. We want to be mindful. Again, what is the opposite of Leo? Aquarius. Our network, our 11th house, our social media, our clientele, anywhere that we're going where there may be an opportunity. Because we also are going to have, on the new moon solar eclipse in Leo, we're going to have on that day, Saturn will be sextile Jupiter, and Mars will also be sextile Jupiter. So what do we have there? We have opportunities. and potentially long-lasting opportunities, or opportunities that can get us where we need to go. We have connections coming, or that we already have, that are going to align and expand. But will you take advantage of it, or will you run and hide? A lot of people, once they get to a certain level or a certain time, and you think that, okay, you know, these people are ready for it, and then when it's time to push this, whatever it is, right? When it's time to push it and the opportunity is there, and you might, let's just say, have a director of some sort that you're pitching something in front of, and then you realize your team's not with you. So you better make sure that you are prepared, because people will flake. People will flake at this time. So this is why I'm saying this Leo new moon eclipse, this second chance, is about self. It's really about self and making sure you're doing what you have to do for you. Making sure if you have to work in groups that you are being diplomatic. You want to allow that Jupiter energy that is in Libra. Let it shine on you, along with that Venus energy. And, you know, do everything that you're doing in love. All right? So, I'm sorry if I'm being a bit long-winded. But let me just wrap this up now. But again, I was talking about, you know, knowing all that we possibly can about our craft. Having and seeking and pursuing our divine will. Learning to merge. Surrendering to ourselves, not to others. And this is a big, big, big point that I wanted to make. That I need to make. When we also talking about Aquarius energy, we want to do and be innovative. We want to do things that no one has ever done before. So guess what that's going to entail? If you tell somebody, you can even tell somebody who you think might understand. Don't listen to what anybody has to say. Now, this might sound like a paradox, and it kind of is, but don't listen to what people are telling you about your idea. As far as if you have an idea to, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever your idea is, don't allow people to tell you, oh no, that's not any good. And if you know somebody has the tendency to do that, don't even bother sharing your idea with them unless you know beyond the shadow of a doubt, yeah, I don't want to hear it, but I know that this person is right about a lot of things. If they have carried out their plans of action and gotten, you know, the result that they desired, then you may want to listen. But I'm talking about if somebody says, you know what, who needs, I don't know, 2 feet high rollerblades, right? 2 feet high rollerblades. But you know what? Somebody might actually want them, you know? So I'm saying don't allow somebody to steal your fire, you know? But I want to say allow people to help you when it comes to tweaking what it is you want to do. But don't allow anybody to snatch or make you feel like you're less or like you're not ready. Now, granted, you know, we do have to slow down. Let's not, you know, I'm not saying to just jump into the fire. We do have to slow down. But when you know what you know, and you just have that feeling in your gut and your heart, don't allow anybody to take that from you. Because that's where that Aquarian energy had come in during the lunar eclipse. And that was one of the messages that I received. That you can allow anybody to knock your innovative angle. No, don't let them do it to you. So really, this is what this new moon is about. Your talent, your gifts, North Nodes in Leo. If you don't know what your North Node is, you need to, or you very well can look at astrotheme.com. It's about your life force. It's about your rulership. It's about your divine rule to right. It's about what you came here for. It's about seizing this next moment. And so when we're talking about Mars sextile Jupiter, this is like you need, and that's going to be on the August 21st, along with this new moon solar eclipse. You have to get out. You have to get out and do things. You have to move around. There'll be plenty of time to hang out in the house once it gets cold outside. Right now, we need to eat up this energy. Priscilla? Excuse me. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, so Mars, the Mars sextile Jupiter and Saturn sextile Jupiter. We need to be prepared. We need to get out. We need to network with people. We need to smile a little more. We need to be a little more vocal, a lot more vocal, but in a very calculated, innovative, practical way. Because practicality is what's going to keep you. It's going to, carry you. It's going to help you to be consistent. But that Mars energy, sextile Jupiter, we might find ourselves having more energy. Feeling like we know more. Feeling like our minds are like expanding and having the right things, the right way to do things, the right moves. And then Jupiter and Saturn, again, it's opportunity, but it's opportunity through diligence. It's not opportunity that's going to fall on your lap. It's an opportunity through diligence, through building your foundation right now, up until the, just, getting all your thoughts and grabbing everything from the cosmos and putting it all together, figuring out what you need to do to create or begin whatever service or whatever it is that you have to show to the world and give to the world. So then, okay, I'll wrap it up with a couple of the aspects for new moon, solar eclipse. We'll have the sun conjunct the moon. So there's harmony, self-assurance, confidence, recognition, and we're ready to shine. If we prep, we're ready to shine. We have the moon trine Uranus. So that's cooperation, variety, following our bliss and our dreams and not banking on others. Moon having to do with Cancer and our emotions, right? Because moon relates to Cancer. The moon relates to our inner being, the essence of who we are, how we feel, how we think to a degree. And then with Uranus, let's not allow people to change our minds. Let's evolve and let's rise, So keep that in mind. Moon trine Saturn, consistent, stable, mature, so that we can seize these opportunities, right? With those Jupiter aspects as well. Then we have the moon is conjunct Mars. The moon is conjunct Mars, so we have to be mindful. We want to direct our energy, that aggressive energy, into getting the job done, into doing our research, into making moves or whatever it is we need to do. Now you see how all this energy is sort of like, it's coming through different avenues, but it's all coming back to the same essence of what we need to do collectively. And again, you want to look at where these planets and these, where the eclipse is falling in your chart. And so we're action-oriented and increased energy during that time. Then we have the moon. Oh, excuse me. The moon conjunct Mercury, and Mercury's retrograde. So we also want to be careful. Yeah, we're going to make moves and whatnot, but however, we need to revise, be receptive, set reminders, revisit what we have began in the past, and seeing how, if at all, that will tie into what it is that we're doing now. And we don't want to start anything new at this time. I believe the Mercury comes out of retrograde around September 15th. Excuse me. And what we want to do during that time, this time, is really go back over our plans, right? Because we got all these opportunities coming up. We want to be ready, right? So, and we want to be cool, calm, collected, diligent, channeling our energy so that we're ready when opportunity knocks. And I think that's it. So, so also we want to shed. We want to tap into our greatness, shed what we no longer need so that we can transform. And this is going to bring pain and discomfort. It is not going to be easy at all. Today I'm having a magnificent day. Is every day a magnificent, joyful, want to talk and carry on all day about astrology and whatnot? No, it's not. So we have to make the best of our energy, the best of our time. We want to build, allow Saturn and Sag to help us build our character. And I know that it's going to be painful, but pain is going to bring the shift that we need. You know, when we feel pain, we adjust and we move differently, or, you know, we find ways to no longer feel that pain. So to no longer feel it is to get used to it, sort of like when you're working out. So, you know, that time management is going to be everything. And remember, this is about what sets you apart from everyone else. This is about your spirit. If you're going to be in competition with anybody, be in competition with yourself and allow yourself to win. Because guess what? With this energy, if you take heed and you're putting forth the work and you're putting forth the effort, you cannot lose. And you won't. But it's going to hurt to get in line, to organize your time, to say no if you would like to party and mingle and that sort of thing. It might be hard. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it. Especially my 1980s folks with the North Node and Leo. Unless you guys have another 18 years that you'd like to wait for an opportune time as this, as what we have coming up, you got another 18 years. If not, get on it. Stop taking astrology as a joke and thinking it's just about your one sign and your sun sign. Really get into it, because it's detrimental at this point, in my book. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. See you next time.